Hi guys, a little bit ago I bought this 2020 Kia Optima at the auction. Aside from some mechanical problems with it, it had a battery that was completely dead. This is something that typically happens with these cars. Most of them have dead batteries because they just sit at this auction yard for weeks and weeks and sometimes for months. I wasn't surprised by that, and typically what I do is I just go ahead and just replace the battery. This is the same thing I did in this case. I just went ahead and replaced the battery. Right now it has a new one and it starts and runs fine. However, what I was really curious to do this time is I wanted to see if there's any chance that I can actually recondition the old battery. In fact, this battery is not that old. This car was produced in 2020, so which means this battery is about 3 years old, but typically the OEM battery lasts for well over 5 years in these vehicles, and I wouldn't be surprised that the only reason it failed was due to its being sitting in the auction yard for too long, and maybe someone actually turned the ignition on and just left it on, and that actually speed up the process of degradation in these lead acid batteries. What I'm gonna try to do is I will drain the battery acid out of it, and I will use Epsom salt with distilled water to try to recondition it. I tried to do this before and I wasn't really successful, but that time I just drained the battery, put some Epsom salt in it and started charging, and that actually worked. So the battery was charging up fine. However, that charge didn't last for too long. The battery was discharging probably like overnight, and it was back to square one when it was completely drained. So this time I'll try to drain the original sulfuric acid out of the battery and save it, then wash it with Epsom salt, and then refill with sulfuric acid back again, recharge it. We'll see if that works or not. I'll show you what I do. This is the original battery out of this car. I replaced it with a new battery from Walmart, and it worked just fine. So first thing we'll need to do is actually we'll have to take all these caps off and drain the original sulfuric acid out of the battery. Alright, so I took these caps off, and you can see it's pretty full of sulfuric acid solution. But before I drained it completely, I just wanted to show you what the battery tester shows for this battery. It shows nothing. It won't even turn on. So I'm gonna connect my battery charger and we'll show you what that thing shows. If I click on start charging, it immediately shows SUL. This basically means that the plates inside the battery are covered with sulfates, and that's why it's not charging it. I'm gonna empty out the battery from the original sulfuric acid solution. It doesn't look like anything actually coming out of this battery. Huh. That is interesting. I'm actually surprised how little of this sulfuric acid solution I got out of this battery. It's like literally a few drops. I don't know if that's supposed to be like it, because when I opened the caps, it looked like it's completely full. I didn't expect that I will get only that much. I actually expected a lot more, but anyways. So next thing, we're gonna prepare a solution of warm Epsom salt, add as much as we can inside this battery, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so the next step is I'm gonna prepare Epsom salt solution. I'm gonna take some distilled water and dilute some Epsom salt in it. Okay, so it's probably a quart of distilled water in this pan, and I added roughly about 1.5 pounds of Epsom salt. I think that's probably enough. So I got this gigantic 500 milliliter syringe, more than enough for the entire battery. It doesn't look like there's anything going on, at least visually. I don't see any kind of a reaction. I'm curious what's gonna happen if I connect it to the charger right now. So yeah, it looks like it's charging. It just still heavily sulfated. Let's see if we get in any kind of amps. Yeah, it looks like it is charging with 4.5 amps. If I leave it like this overnight, we might be able to see some sort of a progress on it. It's been over a week at this point. I left it on the charger for about a day with the salts inside it. Then what I did, I drained all the salts and put the original sulfuric acid that I drained back in. And it's been sitting like this for like 10 days at this point. The battery charger is showing charged, maintaining. So I guess at this point, it must be showing the good voltage, and it's probably not drawing any more amps. While I was watching it during the week, I've noticed that it's been consistently drawing about 7 amps. And the battery was quite hot. So actually, it is pretty hot right now. Let me show you. This is the temperature of this bucket. And it's 56 degrees. Here you got almost 110 degrees over here in the middle. So I can tell this battery is still pretty warm. So I think it might be shorted out inside, and it's drawing some amperage. Although the charger doesn't show that it's charging anymore, I think it's probably drawing just a little bit of amps and warming itself up. Oh wow. It is actually showing more amps than when it was charging during the week. 14 amps. That's a lot. Like I think it's about 150 watts it's drawing continuously, so no wonder why it's so warm. I left these caps partially open so the gases can escape, but you can see the water is still there, so it's not completely evaporated. Let's check this one. Yeah, the water is still not all the way to the top, but you can still see it in there. I don't know why is it showing maintaining. It should be showing charging if it's drawing 14 amps. Let's see what kind of voltage reading we can get from it. Okay, so it's showing 5 volts. 5.7. I bet this thing is thinking that it's a 6-volt battery. Yeah, it's a 6 to 12-volt battery charger. I think it's might be thinking that it's a 6-volt battery, but even for a 6-volt battery, I think 5.7 volt is like way too low. I even saw some sparks flying out. So yeah, that's 14 amps. That's no joke. So I got the charger disconnected. Now we can check the voltage reading. Oh, and it dropped. Now it's a little over 4 volts. And it's actually dropping. Even this battery tester, it won't turn on. 4 volts is not nearly enough. And I bet now it's even lower than this. Yeah, now it's 4.0. Yeah, I don't think the Epsom salt actually helped this battery. It definitely made it even worse. because before I started this, I was actually able to charge this battery to 12 volts and start the car with it. The problem with this battery was if you leave it for a week, it will drop down to the point where it has a hard start and it just wasn't starting. So after this rejuvenation, this battery is actually complete garbage. I don't know, this is the second time I actually trying to use Epsom salt to recover the old battery. The first time I just put the Epsom salt solution inside the battery and drained the original sulfuric acid and disposed of it. But this time I put the original sulfuric acid back and it still didn't help. I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong and something wrong with my process, but it don't look like Epsom salt is actually able to restore the old battery. It's just a complete waste of time and probably an energy of charging this battery, and there is absolutely nothing coming out of it. Last time I tried to restore a standard lead acid battery, and this one is an AGM. I don't know if it's just a chemistry difference in it. Whenever I was doing it last time, I drained a lot more sulfuric acid out of the battery. It was probably like half a gallon or so. This time what I drained was maybe less than half of what I drained last time. Maybe because it is an AGM battery, it is different. I don't know. Like I said, for me, this method with Epsom salt absolutely didn't work for restoring the battery. If I did something wrong and you know what it is, put it in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear, and I'll try to experiment again and we'll see what happens. Thanks a lot for watching.